we have the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, talking about brand new Xbox Series X games that are going to be high quality and how Xbox isn't slowing down on acquiring new studios for the future. Let's talk about it, shall we? What is going on, everybody? Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another video. Hope everyone's having a great day. If you guys could do me a big favor, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It really means a lot to me. Thank you very much, guys. Some of the criticism people have with Xbox is that the last couple years, the quality of their software hasn't been very high, and that they rely too heavily on their core franchises like Halo, Forza, and Gears of War. Well, Phil Spencer recognizes that and talks about how the titles that they're going to show at this Xbox Series X July game showcase and releasing not only this year but next year and into the future are high quality, and that they'll be very different, and some of them will take some creative risks. Now, all this information comes from a couple articles and interviews that GameIndustry.biz posted today. I'll have it linked in the description below so you can check it out for yourself, and I do recommend actually reading the interview because it's very well done. It talks about how Xbox incorporated all these studios into Microsoft and how they basically allow them to make the games that they always dreamed of without the threat of kind of being shut down. So Phil Spencer mentioned that yesterday he sat in an all-day meeting reviewing the content being shown at the July 23rd game showcase, and he said, quote, "My role is different now. I get to sit back and watch more as a consumer. One of the things that really strikes me is the creative diversity in the portfolio. I'm a fan of Xbox, obviously, but I don't mind going to Are We the Shooter box? Is it Gears, Halo, Forza? Gears, Halo, Forza. I know all the memes about us, and I look at what the teams have built already this year, the things that we're going to show, and the things that are coming out later this year, and it is high quality, very different, and takes some creative risks." Now, there's a lot here to break down and kind of discuss. First, the fact that Phil knows all about the memes and knows about the shortcomings of Xbox and how people perceive it to be in the online social media space. If you're an Xbox fan and you tweet out that you enjoy the content, inevitably, just like in my comments section sometimes, people will say, well, Xbox has no games, or all the games that Xbox has are just Halo, Forza, and Gears, and Microsoft needs to move away from that, create some brand new experiences and IP, and it's nice to see Phil talk about that, because at the bottom of that quote, he talks about things that are very different and take some creative risks. Now, Halo, Forza, and Gears, they're not very different. They don't really take creative risks. They're established franchises that do what they're supposed to do. Now, of course, I say that and I haven't seen or played Halo Infinite. It's entirely possible that Halo Infinite is very different and does take a lot of creative risks. We already saw the Coalition try to take some creative risks with Gears 5, adding the open world, but they didn't go all the way. So it's going to be interesting to see what those two studios do with those franchises. But when I see Phil talk about very different and taking some creative risks, my mind goes to some of the studios that we don't know what they're working on. The Initiative, Perfect Dark. Phil has teased that game for a bit, says it's interesting to see them do new things and old things in a new way. And if it truly is Perfect Dark, maybe it is very different and they'll take some creative liberty with that. What is Compulsion Games doing? They could really take some creative risks with whatever they're working on. Same thing with Obsidian, potentially with Playground and the Fable IP. I know a lot of people might be disappointed if the new Fable isn't exactly like the old Fable, but that's where being very different and taking creative risks come in. Now, the biggest thing here, and the most important by far, is Phil's comment about high quality. He says that he's seen what the teams have built this year, the things that they're going to show this year and beyond, and the things that are coming later this year, and they're high quality. And you don't have to go back very far to see Phil's comments last year about Xbox Game Studios and how some of the games that they made weren't exactly the best. You can point to Crackdown 3, you can point to the initial launch of Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2. A lot of those games were hammered by critical reception, and he admitted that they had a quality problem. So to see him come out right now and say, look, the games that we're going to be putting out, the games that we're going to be showing, number one, they're high quality. And that's all I ever really asked for from Xbox. I don't really care what they make as long as what they make is high quality. But not only are they high quality, they're going to be very different and they're going to take some creative risks. And to me, that is so exciting to hear. Now, we've seen a lot of talk recently about Xbox being interested in Warner Brothers games. There's rumored that they're talking to studios all the time. Microsoft is still keen on acquiring studios, and that's what Phil Spencer said today. He said the first priority was making sure that studios had the things that they needed to build the best versions of their games. That means extending some of the timelines and giving them more budgets. We have really strong support from Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, and Amy Hood, the CFO. And there's been no signal at all that we should be slowing down, but just go to a place that is maintainable for us as a leadership team. We're always out there talking to people, but it has to be the right opportunity. And let me tell you, Warner Brothers games is the right opportunity that doesn't come up all the time. Rocksteady, NetherRealm, Monolith, potentially licensing out the DC and Batman IP, that is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. But even more than that, Microsoft is talking to other studios. Phil basically confirms it there. We're always out there talking to people. Who could it be? IO Interactive, Bloober Team. The list of independent studios is very long. And some of this might be kind of spurred on by what their competition is doing. If you missed the news today, Sony invested heavily into Epic. $250 million, which sure does sound like a lot, but when you find out that Epic is valued at $17 billion, that investment from Sony only really represents 1.5%. And then there's the talk that Sony is interested in buying the parent company of Digital Extremes, the makers of Warframe. So Sony's out there potentially spending money to acquire more developers. Tencent is always out there waiting to make their move. And then of course you have Google and Amazon with their entries into gaming. You never know if they're going to make a splash. So sometimes when these opportunities come up, you have to jump on it. And I know that the Warner Brothers games thing is incredibly expensive at $4 billion, but like Phil says here, but it has to be the right opportunity. And I think the Warner Brothers things is the right opportunity, but I mentioned in my previous video, I think the pricing is a bit too high for Microsoft, but I still would like them to make more acquisitions. I feel for them to become the Netflix of gaming and to have the content constantly coming into Game Pass, as long as it's high quality, very different, and taking some creative risks, then they need probably one more big AAA studio and probably two more mid-tier studios that have multiple teams to make many different types of games. Xbox is in a fantastic place. Just look at this quote. The Game Pass portfolio and subscriber base continues to grow. We're launching a new console. Last year was our biggest year ever on PC in terms of revenue as Xbox Game Studios. A lot of the business is doing really well, so we're always in the market for new opportunities with studios. Ever since Sea of Thieves came out on Steam, it's basically remained at #1 or in the top 5 for over a month. They're making a ton of money on PC. They're launching a brand new console. There are over 10 million subscribers to Game Pass right now, and that's only going to increase when Halo Infinite and all these new high-quality exclusives launch into the service later this year. And because of that, you got money to spend, and you need to invest in Xbox. And to do that, sometimes you need more talented developers and you need more studios. And like Phil said, they're always in the market for new opportunities with studios, and you have a bunch available. You just need to go out and get them. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, share this out on social media, or tell a friend about the channel. And if you always want to be notified immediately when I drop new videos, make sure you hit that notification bell icon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you that takes the time out of your day to do so. And I'll see everybody in the next video. Later, guys.